I've actually seen profits that turn into losses because a trader fails to understand that the market is about to move in an opposite direction. Now, let me say for an example, odd USD is actually on the bearish move, but there are some times that you need to exit the trade, mostly when you know that the market has gone against you. Most folks fail to understand that when there is a change in structure, the market actually is about to change. So you need to know when that change in structure is about to occur in the chart. And also another thing, you need to know your exit point. One, the first thing we check is our entries. Entry does not determine that the market will actually get to your target, but sometimes that you need to know when to exit that trade. So in this video, I'm going to be walking you down to the strategy that I use in exiting my trade. So, but if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Also, leave a comment in the section below in case you have a question for us to give attention to. And also, if you have not watched the video where I talked about trend trading strategy, I'm going to be leaving the link in the description below. You can actually click on it to get to see it. So in this video, I'm going to show you the first thing I do is I understand the flow of the market. Now, take for example, odd USD here in this market is actually bearish. It's actually on a bearish move. So the first thing I want to do is trade with the trend. Now you've always heard that the market say the trend is your friend. The trend is your friend. Now that's true because why? If you trade with the trend, you have higher chances of winning in the market. But once you're against the trend, you're trading the counter trend trading, which is a professional trading strategy, and it will end up making you lose because you're a beginner in the chart in the forex. But if you're an advanced, you can make way out from it. So the first thing you want to do is understand the market flow. Now, odd USD, let's zoom closely, is actually on the bearish move. Now, this is a weekly time frame. This is a weekly time frame, and as you can see, the market is actually bearish, and it has been respecting these trend lines. Let me point them out. Market has actually been respecting these trend lines. And finally it broke here. Finally it broke here. It came to this zone, this last zone here, and it got broken. So let me take it out now. But as you can see, these two major swing points were actually respected, and the market moved to the downside. Now if we're going to be saying, are we going to be waiting for the market to come to this major swing point before entering the trade? There are some times in the market where you need to understand something. The next thing after market structure is market time frame alignment. You need to understand the time frame, how to align your weekly down to your monthly. Now this is the weekly. Let's go down to the daily and let's identify these zones here. Okay, okay, I think these are the zones where the market is respected. Let's go back. It's just taking time to load. As you can see, this is the first one that the pullback, the first major pullback before the market moved up. Now closely here, you see something here. There is actually a break of structure here. Let me take this here. Now let me quickly say this. Anytime you see where the market move lower than this is a break of structure, which indicates that the market is actually coming back to the downside. It's actually retraced here, retraced back here and started what moving lower, because why, there was actually a break of structure here. So the first thing you want to look out for is to make sure this trend line here, this trend line here is actually having a break of structure. Once the market comes to this zone and fails to break this zone, you want to know that the market might fail to what, break what, lower. Now since we know the market structure is bearish, this is what we do. I'm going to be drawing another trend line here, in the daily. It's like we can know the 4 hours, the weekly is actually what, bearish, but I'm seeing some little major zones where the market retraced to. So this is it. The first thing I want to do is, since I've seen this zone that the market retraced here, these are other retracement moves that I can actually what, use as a form of what, entry, in case I miss the first what, entry. This is it. This is an entry word. Once I see this market break structure here, I want to get out from the chart, because why, price actually retraced here. It's actually what, retraced here, touched it twice and went what, back up. Now the first thing you want to do, market can be crazy most of the time, so the first thing you want to do is to take out what, partials in this zone. Now what am I saying in essence? The first thing I look out for whenever I want to execute a trade is what, a trend line break. Now this is actually a trend line called break in this zone here, but we know initially that from the weekly the market is actually what, bearish. The market is actually what, bearish, because why, the bigger picture see the market is bearish, but we can actually come down to this zone here and look for a retracement move to take price to what, the downside. All I'm saying essence is, whenever there's a break, a trend line break, you want to look for what, an opportunity to what, exit that trade. You want to look for an what, opportunity to what, exit that trade. Now this is another entry here, and let's see if I can draw a trend line here. There will actually be a way here. I'm seeing something here. Once the market came to this week but give us a double top, I'm seeing something here. Okay, there was a trend line break. Now take note of this. Whenever I say a trend moves up and break a trend line, if you check closely here, you will see something. There's a trend line break here. Let me zoom this out a little bit. Market actually what, broke this trend line. Now what does this mean? It will not reverse immediately, but it's an indication for you to what, to exit the trade, because why, this shows you that whenever there's a trend line break, the market has actually been respecting the zone. But whenever there's a trend line break, it shows that the market wants to what, move in an opposite what, direction. Move in an what, opposite direction. Don't forget, we have the whole big picture of the first trend line. This is it. This one here is the big picture of the whole trend line, but this one is an inter trend trading strategy that what, helps us to know what the market is doing in the what, the lower time frame. This is the hourly and 1 day and daily time frame that enables us to know what the market is what, doing. So we saw a trend line break here, and if you can see clearly, the market really went up in an what, opposite direction. It went up what, in an opposite direction. So that's the first thing you want to do. You want to know what the market is what, is doing concerning what, the trend line trading strategy when it breaks the trend line. The next thing I look forward to is break of structure. Break of structure, that's the next thing I look out for before what, exiting the trade. Now let me take for an example this zone here. This was the last order block. Oh, let me just use the trend line. Let me use the trend line. This was the last order block. This was the last order block, and as you can see, it was broken. Now whenever there's a break of structure here, is an indication that the market wants to move in an opposite direction. It might not move immediately, but it's a signal for you to know that, hey guys, if you have been selling in that trade, you want to what, exit your trade. The market always give you an information telling you that whenever I want to move in opposite direction, there are two things I look at for. One, a break of structure, and the next one is a trend line break. I would have said the change in market structure change indicator, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to be leaving it that way for just us to focus on what trend line break and the break of structure. Now this is a break of structure here in the daily. Now this tells you that the market wants to move in a what, an opposite direction. I'm not going down to the lower time frame, but because of this video, I'm going to be leaving it in the daily, because why? This gives you a better bigger picture of what the market is doing. You can go down on the lower time frame because you know what the higher time frame is, what it's saying. So in case you want to understand the video where I talked about time frame alignment, I'm going to be leaving the description below for you to get a better and a clearer understanding. So as you can see, the market actually what came to this zone and what broke structure, pulled back, and what went back up, and that was how it broke it entirely. So that's the two things I look at for in a chart before what I get involved in the trade.